Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death.
I was telling Neal on the break how many times I've played this encounter from the other side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right, with your party of adventurers, you hunt down the necromancer, vampire lord, or whatever in his manor house. You ambush him, you get everything set up perfectly, and the thief botches their assassination, and the cleric goes down, and you barely get out with your lives. And afterwards, your DM tells you, "Oh man, he had 1 HP left. You almost had him."
Yep. But now we get to see it from the necromancer side.
Exactly. You're on Dicing with Death.
So the
evil awaits. Yeah. So this cleric is subdued. I think you said 6 HP. So 2 of that will go into me. We'll go into Malcifer.
And then the other 2 more get bled
out. And then Mouse. And yeah, I think it's finished. I think we time it perfectly. So as she's hitting -10, Malcifer can chop her head off with his ceremonial bardish, his executioner's axe. Fresh back from the battlefield, so it's dull but heavy enough to break through the spine of this cleric, and I can take her life force as well as
4.2 years.
4.2, more than making up for the spirit armor that her foolish friends chipped through.
Is spirit armor 1 year?
Oh no, sorry, not spirit armor. What am I thinking of?
Spirit armor. Oh, unholy strength.
The spirit unholy. No, not unholy strength. Oh, the withering touch that I had. So my max. You said 4.2. 4.
Yeah.
4. What? Okay, 4.2. So 137.7. My new grand total. Yeah. So I think she's unconscious, right? So drink up 1 HP with the blood. Remove the head with the axe. Have we done anything with skeletal clerics or anything? Is that a thing?
There are higher level things. You need to be significantly higher level to start getting intelligent spellcasting undead.
But you mean we haven't invented it yet?
Do I? I don't know. I made a whole bunch of... I updated the sheet, updated the list of things. No, you're right. There's still no spellcasting undead in here, but there's other really cool shit.
Yeah. So, all right. Decapitate the cleric. Party goes free. I want to hunt them down, but that may be over the course of days, because I probably will, retake the manor I command to the skeletons once it's probably 3 minutes later. The party's fled through the they would have hit the cliffs. I don't know if they would have climbed down and made it to the beach in a way, or if they've
unbeknownst to Malcifer, they arrived on a small boat, climbed the cliffs, left some ropes for quick escape, and made their way in.
Cleric behind.
It was too late. She was already gone. They had to let her go, but rest assured, they will not rest easy. They will remember that. Are they sailing
back to the mainland, or are they hopping to some village over? I guess we can keep that a secret for now.
Yeah.
Wretched souls. I almost got them.
Well, what are you going to do now?
I think the skeletons and will probably go in first, and I will follow after, and we'll retake my estate. I was assuming, I find my staff tied up in a back room or something?
Yes, your 2 staff members are tied up in the kitchen.
Unharmed?
Unharmed. One of them looks like he's taken a beating, but that's about it. They're bound with rope, regular, everyday hempen rope. When you unbind and ungag them...
I cut them free with a hunting knife. And,
Lord Rosegrove. He's the battered and bruised one. And he says, Lord Winter, they burst in, grabbed us, put us here, asked where you were. We didn't tell them a thing.
We fought well, lords. And I helped them to their feet. Where is Carrie?
I don't know.
And
Perhaps
Lilith
still in
was
the
with me,
barn?
wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lilith went back to her house.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they've fled to the towards the bluffs. Hunt them all down.
You say to your
Then
skeletons?
word. Yeah. No. To my staff. Tomas and Rosegrove, who I think will go to like the village to tell the hunters that there were. So I guess the village is fine, right? I was worried that while I was away, another army had marched.
No,
But it sounds like that. Yeah, the villages. I didn't even notice that this was just a party of adventurers.
Well, you skipped the village. You haven't been there yet. It could be fine, or it could be completely overrun and destroyed. You have no idea.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Probably fine, right? If 4 adventurers came into your hut, into your house, they probably didn't touch the village.
Mouse would probably think that they probably got drunk at his tavern a couple hours ago. And did I taste any? I guess it was a cleric of Martha. There was no booze in that blood.
No.
Yeah. Let's go check on the village. It's nightfall, right?
It's evening. Yeah.
It's evening. Is Lilith? She would have gone back to her hut. Probably we would have broke at like the trail. There was probably a fork in the trail.
Yeah.
One went more directly to her hut. One went like up the hill towards my estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll take a real live horse this time for old time's sake. Take a war horse out for a spin, and
you find Carrie
into the village.
in the barn.
Oh, I almost went there. Is she even restrained, or was she just hiding?
No,
in here?
She's not restrained. She's hiding and looking out a window. And as you approach, she makes her presence known to you.
It's only your cowardice that keeps you alive. Mouse first says to her disdainfully, as the finest warhorse, and ready a saddle.
She readies it quickly and brings it to you.
Yeah, and I mount up and ride into the village. Oh, how much HP does Carrie have?
1d8.
Only it's a pretty unfavorable rate. It's not like it's but I always heal later. Malsfer's eyes linger on Carrie's throat for a second. And he gets like boom, 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 close up of the necromancer vision of the lifeblood. But we'll ride away.
Yeah, because you don't have to fully drain a person of life, right? You could just bleed her a little. You could just leech a little life from a bunch of people.
Yeah. We'll think about it. All right, let's go check on the village. I think by now skeletons are swarming the place looking for unmarked victims. Yeah. Right. And we'll just say that there's skeletons in the hedges from now on. I don't know if we want to separate those on the spreadsheet from the other skeletons.
Well, just tell me how many groups of skeletons or numbers of skeletons you'd like to put in your hedgerow. And just keep them as a separate force. Then we'll call it your defensive.
So we got 4 here. Maybe 2 stay in the house for now. Even I'll be on paranoid high alert. 1. I'm thinking maybe 4 per side. 4 times 4 is 16. That's a lot.
Your hedgerow is 900 feet on a side. So you have 3,600 feet of wall. So how many skeletons you want to put in there, and we'll just say they're evenly distributed, one every so many feet.
Yeah. Let's say lucky 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So I'll even note this on my...
Every 450 feet, there's a skeleton. So like 1 in every corner, and then 1 in the middle of every wall.
Yeah, so that's 64 skeletons.
Yeah. Enough to guarantee that you'll see anyone coming.
Yeah. So there are how many? What you calculated the density, right? So there's 64 skeletons in the hedges. So that
Wait,
would
64
be,
skeletons?
yeah.
Oh shit! I thought you were just putting.
I said 8 by 8 on a side. Wait, 8 by 8.
Oh, I thought you just wanted 8
on...
skeletons.
No. There are at least, yeah.
Wait. Okay, you're committing 64 undead to your fencing, to your border wall,
when
right?
you put it that way, yeah, right. Because
that's fine. Yeah.
How many linear feet did you say the hedges were? You said they're 400 feet on the side.
900 feet on the side. 3,600 square linear feet. Yeah.
3,600. So if there's 64 skeletons, that's 1 every 56 feet of hedging, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's not even that dense.
That
seems perfect. Like a reasonable amount. That seems to me a reasonable amount of skeletons to have in your hedges.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of skeletons to have in your hedges. It might be an unreasonable amount of skeletons.
I think 1 skeleton in your hedges is too many. But yeah, so.
Yeah. All right, you are walled up and ready to go.
Yeah, and I ride into the village. Mouse rides into the village.
Winter's Reach is as peaceful as ever. There's no sign of attack or anything. The people are just milling about, hanging out with their undead.
Yeah, I ride to Lilith's cabin at the very least to get treated. Oh, do I beat Tomas here?
By a mile.
By a mile. Are there hunters about that I can, or even at the? I guess I go to the tavern first.
Mm-hmm. The hunters are here, gloating over their great victory in the west.
Yeah, I come riding in hot, leap off my warhorse onto the porch. That how many turns does it take before my thing to wear off? You said it's 1 turn per point. So,
no, 1 turn per level.
Oh, 1 turn per level. Okay,
so unholy strength, right?
Yeah. Okay. So so that's 5 turns. So 50 minutes. So I'm probably still sitting at a 17 strength, right?
Mm-hmm. Bulging muscles.
Yeah. Athletic and young. Yeah. So I'd literally do leap off the warhorse onto that front porch of the tavern, into the group of hunters, and alert them. As Tomas will probably, if they're still dilly dallying, Tomas will come scurrying in to remind them in a few minutes that there are trespassers at the estate.
The hunters immediately...
A party of 4. 3 escaped and fled to the bluffs. Hunt them all down.
The hunters hop up, grab their bows, and run out of the tavern.
I shout after a reasonable bounty to put on someone's head for trespassing.
100 silver pieces, maybe?
Silver, that's what I was thinking, yeah. 100 silver an ear.
Excellent. So the hunters
heads are more useful for a necromancer, right? Yeah. I was thinking to be generous. 200 silver a head.
Beautiful. All right. Lost a D4 somewhere.
And then I will head to Lilith's hut to get my wounds seen to.
Yeah.
And
Lilith is surprised at your new injuries.
I know. I probably saw her half an hour ago.
Yeah. You can relay what happens to her, and she will tend to your wounds as best as possible, saying that she'd rather take you to your estate where she can properly treat you in a proper bed. You know, if you have to ride back, you might pull a stitch or something. So she'll come with you back to your house and treat you there.
All right. She advises we walk.
No, I mean, until you're stitched up, it doesn't matter. You have no stitches to break.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll head back to the estate, and heal up once more. Yeah. So I will have informed Lilith, that the party of adventurers ambushed me at the estate. I can go into whatever details.
Yeah. You guys chat about it. And as the evening passes, she reminds you that there are many, many villagers yet who have not yet been marked for servitude. And with the increasing numbers of undead in the area, it's becoming more and more difficult to keep them from hurting your people.
Yeah.
There was already an incident this evening with the new approaching army spotting a child who had walked away from his marked parents, and they chased after him, and someone had to scurry the child into a hidden place while the marked people moved the skeletons onward.
All right, let's see my spreadsheet. I'm looking at 53. I need more souls. The farmers are gonna have a rough go at it, but I've certainly got enough for each of the villagers.
Good.
So I will. I think it's probably best if I go to them, because if they come to the estate, they'll probably get torn to pieces in the hedges before they can get here. So so let's get Malsifer stitched up, rested over the night, and the next day we'll go into the village and mark as many of the villagers as want. We'll offer it again. Actually, I think last time I ran out of years before the villagers stopped lining up. So let's. I'll go pray at the altar of winter to the winter gods to save our souls, right?
Yep. We pray to the winter gods. Your prayers fall on deaf ears, but that's only because the winter gods.
What do you mean deaf? That's because they're dead. They fall on dead ears. Is what they fall on.
Sure.
Have you seen the orchard lately? Tell me that is not a boon of some sort. Our prayers have been answered.
Have they?
Our guardian angels are lining up rank and file to bring us salvation.
They're glistening white bones, reminding you of the holy light of
or
gods.
So Malsifer rants and raves to the villagers as they line up over the course of the day to be branded. Does anything happen that night, or can we skip?
No, we can skip to the next day where you start
ritual,
branding
bring
your
the
people.
brand, get the fire going nice and hot.
In the middle of town.
Did the hunters come back with news of what happened? Were they even able to piece it together, or were they just like, we lost the bus?
No, they were able to track these footsteps of the people. They found their ropes that went down the beach, and they say the footprints led to a skiff in the sand that looks like a small rowboat had been pulled up on the beach. And that they fled by water, and they were just gone. Into the night, into the dark.
Yeah, scout up and down the coast. Let me know if there's any sign of them. As a matter of fact, it would probably probably be best to keep patrols going at all times. Let's see. Let's say 20 silver for for sighting a ship or a intruder of any kind.
They are alert.
Good boys time. So what are the quests we've got on the village board now? 20 silver for if you spot a boat on the cliffs, and 200 if you bring a head.
Yes. I guess over the next few days, which you're going to need to rest.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll park in the village square. I mean, even though it was like, I'd rather you stay at the estate. Oh, but also people need to be marked. So we'll take it slow. Do you bring
them ceremoniously into your house to mark them, or do you mark them in town square?
Well, that's what I was thinking. It would be most convenient to have them brought to me, especially for healing. But then they'd be torn apart by the hedges, right?
Yeah, you might have to disband the skeletons in the hedges, or give them like a protective guardian, like an honor guard of marked people to hold the skeletons back.
How many can we get through in a day?
It's a simple spell. I figure every time you mark a person, you want to heat the iron again for another minute. It's maybe a 1 minute casting time. So in theory, you can
one round. So in an hour, we could get through all. We'd get through 6 villages.
30. I think it's going to be 2 minutes.
I think Malsifer rides into town the next day once Lilith has given him leave with the iron, and we get the village fire roaring nice and hot. And we line them up. We let them know what's happening. They have to listen to Malsifer ramble about the winter gods. and they get a hot iron. Are there any that like sneak in that are unwilling?
Sit there listening, rapt and focused. Not half. This isn't Sunday Bible school, man. These aren't bored children. They are a willing audience.
They are terrified, and they are frightened villagers longing for salvation, right?
And clearly, you have found it. You have created life beyond life. This is everything they've ever wanted. This is proof that they are the true owners of the earth. That all of their long-held beliefs are being reinforced by these dark rituals and dark magics.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Oh yeah, your villagers are. There's a reason that they're your villagers.
So on my spreadsheet, I have 53 unnamed villagers and 112 unnamed farmers, and a few unnamed hunters. Yeah, so I don't have enough for all of them. For bookkeeping, though, I can certainly do all of the villagers and hunters. I don't know what the difference between. So I'm going to mark all of the villagers and all of the hunters if they are willing. So my question, I guess, is: do any sneak in that are unwilling, that reject the brand, that get branded anyways? That hasn't come up yet, but in theory, it could.
Let's find out. I think there's one person
marks
who is being sort of carried along. It's a young girl. She's barely 15, and her parents are coming willingly to be marked, and she's sort of squirming, and after their parents get marked, they hold out the child's hand, and she's definitely like physically resisting and trying to like pull away, and the parents are saying, "No, sweetie, it's okay. This is good for you. It's okay, sweetheart."
I'm only marking 60 souls then. So here's the one. So I think Malsker's probably careful. He's got at least some understanding of the spell. So with every single villager, and that must be why it takes a minute, and like while the iron's warming up, talk to them about the winter gods, and make sure that each one understands that this mark must be taken willingly. And I don't know, making eye contact and getting like an affirmation, preferably verbal, but So my question is, does she take the brand and doesn't believe in what or does she not?
The child is physically resisting, but her parents are holding her in place so you can brand her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then Malsper will ask her if she. Do you wish to be marked?
No, she cries.
Okay, have her parents already been marked?
Yes, they went right before her.
Okay, so as the
child says no, the father looks at you and says, "Please, my lord, she's just an innocent child. She doesn't understand what she says. This is good for her."
If you aren't marked, it is no longer safe for you to live in this village. You must be marked, leave, or die. And I think she probably runs off with horrible stories of her traumatizing childhood in this cold winter. Do her parents go with her?
I think they maybe like pull her to the corner of the room and try and talk some sense into her while like the rest of the line files in and keeps getting marked. And after everyone has been done for the day except for the child, the parents come back, or the mother comes back to you while the father's still talking to her and says, I'm sorry, my lord. She refuses, but we can't let her go by herself. She's too young.
Does not matter the age. We must make our own choices. And I don't think Malsper leaves. If the entire village has been marked, I'll head back to the estate.
Okay.
So there's still 100 or so farmers in the outlying woods and countryside that are unmarked.
Yeah.
Their fields are probably being ravaged by zombies and fields running fallow. So I think we'll hear
There's a problem with wild animal, or not wild animals, what do you call them? Tamed animals being
zombies coming into the what you call them, like the kennels or the chicken coops or the barns and stables. And
and the domesticated animals are getting hurt and killed here and there.
Yeah, and there are a handful of the hunters now are probably mostly patrolling the coastline looking for boats. So the hunters that used to keep the zombies out of the farms are maybe preoccupied looking for bounties elsewhere.
And the people are beginning to go hungry from all the animals that have been sacrificed and killed by roving monsters.
Oh yeah, we need more. I think that's going to probably do it for the farmers. Though what will have to happen is we'll buy them out. But and buy all their animals, but they'll be basically getting getting paid coins. But and we've got the spoils of war, right? The hunters brought back they ransacked the granaries in
there's
in the
dried
village.
goods, right? Not a lot of animals, but dried goods that are here.
Because I have waiting for me 150 corpses back in the keep in Sardinia. So we need more livestock. Let's get healed first. So I think we will pass a week or so. Get Malcifer from 2 back to 16.
Right. Okay. And in that week, what else happens? Information goes back, and I think is there a siege? They hear about that. The knight that survived the former siege has made it back to Pinespur by then and reported. The mercenaries they hired to kill you go back and report what's going on after a few days. Pinespur has to decide what they're going to do about this problem. They've already been trying to raise their spears.
I think they've pretty much, haven't they done everything? Like they've sent adventuring party after adventuring party at this necromancer in the woods here.
Adventuring party. And one group of, what was it, like 3 spears that initially came? 2 spears?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay, because they're calling their banners. They're waiting for the big push against Malcifer. So they're waiting for the troops to be trained and brought in from every corner of the realm.
It'll take like a season.
Waiting.
Isn't it winter now? It's like early winter. They probably can't call the banner. I mean, they can send out messengers, but they probably can't rally.
Well, it's not a big island, right?
The dead of winter, can they?
Is it the dead of winter? Do we even know what time frame we're
established
playing in?
That it was. Well, I mean,
I don't even know.
We usually just roll 1d12 to determine what, or 1d365 to determine what day it is. I think we'd said it was early winter or something at some point earlier.
Maybe.
So I'm just imagining that they'll wait till spring to pull together an army and assault. But well, yeah, we'll see.
Pinespur, or not Pinespur, Gadia is not a big island, right?
Yeah.
You can get to Pinespur in 2 days from anywhere on the island.
What's the weather like? It's probably pretty warm, isn't it? Temperate.
Yeah, the winters get a little chilly, especially in the top.
But over here on the coast, a lovely place to have a,
the Strait of
nice,
Amen is nice and shallow.
Vacation home, an estate on the coast with a lovely orchard, some rosemary hedges. All right, so maybe they can rally an army even in the winter. So a week goes by.
Malcifer has healed up to full.
Yeah. How many charges did I lose of my spirit armor? Was it 2? Did I lose 2 after I resummoned it?
1? You should be at 4 charges, I believe.
4 out of 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. Are there any sightings, I guess? Do any hunters come and report to me
There's talk of
sightings
boats in the channel, but they all seem to be the fairly regular, normal ships moving back and forth. Nothing interesting.
Okay.
Nothing.
I did say that I would pay 20 silver for any hunter that spots a rowboat or something, a boat in the channel.
Right.
I mean, I guess there's usually enough traffic that.
Yeah.
How much should I subtract silver? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, subtract a bunch of silver.
How much?
I don't know. They probably spot like 10 boats over the course of the week, so 200 silver.
Mm-hmm. Or are we saying that all this is the wealth of Winter's Reach and the serfs don't get it? No.
I mean, you'll just tax them for it again later, right? It's a renewable resource.
No, they're free people of Old Gadia.
Yeah, right.
Marked for...
So at the most narrow, it looks like this is a 6-mile straight right here. So you could eat... I think with the bluffs, like 30 feet high? Mm-hmm. That'll allow you to see 6 miles out to sea, no problem, from 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you basically have a view of anything passing through the Strait of Amen, if you need it.
On a clear day.
On a clear day, yeah. And a week passes. Malcifer's restored.
Yeah.
His armies are standing strong. His people are marked and ready. For what?
So in this time, I will have assembled my army in the orchard, and let's do a quick check-in. 22 skeletons, about 20 skeleton warriors. That's a sizable force to march with. I think I'm going to leave these skeletons in the hedges, zombies in the woods. What are these zombie monsters too? Oh yeah, Lilith's had a week. Has she made any creations for me to raise? Has she birthed any monsters? Did she find any snakes?
Was she looking for snakes?
I mean, that's what we talked about last episode, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yes, there are serpents that have been brought to you. Captured snakes.
Alive?
Yes, alive.
Oh.
Living
Can we bundle them
serpents.
together and raise skeletons?
Skeletal snakes or
zombie
snakes?
Both. No. You use the you use a whole bundle of small animals as a sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
To make a skeleton, and then you zombify the small animals.
Right.
They're brought to me alive. Is that what you said?
Yes, they are brought to you alive.
That's what we're doing. How many snakes?
You get 8 snakes.
How many skeletons fell in combat? There was only 2, right?
2 destroyed.
But those are totally destroyed, right?
Their heads were smashed in, shattered by the priest's holy might.
And if the head, can you raise skeletons with busted heads?
If you can gather all the pieces and everything, and get the unified body.
So let's separate these 8 snakes into 2 bundles of 4, mm-hmm. and we'll sacrifice them with the blow from probably my bardish over the bones of these fallen skeletons and attempt to reanimate them with the life force of 4 small creatures. We've never actually done. We've used chickens as a small creature. It's just small for a regular skeleton.
Small creature, I think.
Then maybe so. Then each snake can raise a skeleton, right?
Yeah, each snake can raise a skeleton.
Let me double check this necromancy doc.
Life force, small animal. I think a snake is a small animal. If a chicken will do, a snake will do, right?
Cool. Then I'll re-raise the 2 that had their brains bashed in by a cleric.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she tried so hard. She did everything she could to fight off the undead horde, and her faith was not enough.
Mm-mm.
Hail Martha. So then I can get the 2 that cleric took down, and 6 more. All the bodies are in Sardinia. We'll have them sent for. Or eventually we'll retrieve and flay 6 more corpses.
Mm-hmm.
In this week, I think what I'll have done is dispatched 6 skeleton warriors to each bring back a flayed corpse presumably from Sardinia, because that's where they know that they killed some people and there's some corpses waiting around. But we'll see.
So do
they succeed? Do they go to Sardinia, bring these 6 flayed corpses?
Yeah, let me just make sure they don't run into like a random patrol of other monsters or player characters or something on their way.
I think we're rapidly killing anything else in the Plumwood that would possibly... I mean, maybe there's...
There are some orcs and there's some monsters and there's a few things here and there. It's possible that they might not make it, but they do. They make it there.
Yeah, I think we need to add a skeleton to that destroyed village, captured keep on the coast, right? Sardinia?
What do you mean add a skeleton? Oh, a skull. Yes.
A skull, yeah.
Yes.
All right, so my warriors will retrieve 6 flayed corpses, which will be raised as skeletons. 144 remaining. Bring the skeleton army up to 28. We will resupply the army with hides in the village and with improvised weapons. Probably mostly sharpened spears. And the snakes. So the 8 snakes get sacrificed to make 8 skeletons, and then Lilith performs surgery to use a tiny scalpel to cut into their tiny snake brains to make zombie snakes. And we're gonna stitch all 8
work to make zombie snakes. You know,
yeah, she may need to make some.
Head.
Maybe this is work for. Is Mousefur better at this than Lilith is?
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an anatomy proficiency. Is that?
And you've had made more undead than she has helped you with, and you know the magic to do so very well. She's just an assistant.
Yeah. Okay. So we raise those skeletons, and then we go into the workshop and get to work. So what do you think? My anatomy is 10. Should I make an anatomy check for each snake to do the delicate task of slicing into its head?
I think so. Otherwise, you might accidentally ruin the brain. They're so delicate and small.
Okay. So let's roll. So since it's 10, I'll roll 10 d20 greater than 10.
Yes.
Yeah, that works. 4 successes, 1 crit. I don't think the crit really matters.
No.
Is that a 2-headed snake?
No, this should be 5 successes. 13, 14.
Oh, 10 is too many. I should have rolled...
Oh, no, this is correct. I can't count.
I should have rolled 8. There are only 8,
right,
so ignore the last 2. But sure, so it's still 4 successes.
Half your snakes.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 snakes, which will be which will be zombified and stitched on. I think. Let's do the bear. How about the bear? Is that going to be our monster? Oh, and I know what I wanted to do. Let's make a full-on chimera. Let me look at my. Do we have any more animals to play with, or is what I'm looking? We had elk, bear. I've got elk and bear already. Or sorry, I have stags and a bear already.
Yeah.
Is there anything else Lilith is working on in the?
No, I think the undead have scared off most of the natural creatures from around you. Only small things like snakes and maybe rabbits and birds exist, but all the big game has moved away from the death. They can feel the undead and they are terrified by it. These abominations should not exist.
Okay, well, the bear is gonna get these 4 snakes stitched as its tail. And I think I want to give it a second head. I'm just trying to decide what to do. All right, so maybe the pig. There's one other pig bomb. I'll keep. Oh, we've got. Let's see, livestock. No more pigs, chicken. Maybe it just stays as a snake bear for now. We need more snakes. All right.
All right. Now what? What are you doing now, Malcifer? You've raised new things. You've attached snakes to the bear. You said 4 snakes on its tail?
4 snakes on its tail. I think they're non-venomous, but they probably can nip for like 1 point of damage.
They just kind of ride around.
Just wait till I find another head to stitch on.
You gonna stitch some antlers on the bear?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or like adding a second, so there's a bear head and stitch next to it a stag's head.
I like it, yeah. You're gonna do, that sounds pretty sick. God, what a terrifying monster just to like send it. It's like a running bear with a stag's head, and you think it's awful.
I've already got these animated stags, right? Can I just remove one of their head? And it's the head that has the zombie magic in it, right? So you can just like chop off the zombie's head, and the head keeps biting at you, right?
Yeah, if you were to... If you carefully read the rules, it talks about wounded zombies don't regenerate, but you can add new body parts to them to replace them. So you can cut the head off and attach it on anything you want.
All right. So I'll attach one of the stag heads to the snake bear. Making a snake bear stag zombie monster. And to make 4 snakes, that's 4 years of life. We need to go back on the warpath. All right, I'm down to 73.7 max years. I'm starting to feel my humanity again. I don't like this. Let's mount up and march out.
Excellent. Where are you going?
In search of more souls and more bodies. I think we want to reclaim Gator Beach. You don't have much mapped over there. Yeah, and maybe sort out what happened with those skeleton warriors that I lost. So we're gonna, Mousefer will, once he's fully healed, will mount up and march, taking with him the zombie monsters, which will probably trail behind in the woods and potentially get lost or stumble upon the poor adventuring party that rolls them on a random encounter table somewhere. But with me will be my warriors, my skeleton warriors, and 28 regular skeletons. So we've got an army of about 60.
Okay.
Plus Mousefer and his zombie mount. So we'll march through Sardinia and check on it. I think it's basically just abandoned. Has it been efficiently raided? So like the granaries are empty. Anything of value in the village has been taken, but the homes are unoccupied. And then the keep is just a butchery, right? There are several hundred, well, the remains of several hundred inhabitants in various
scattered all over the place.
I have on my spreadsheet that there are 144 usable corpses remaining. And amongst that, just the blood and viscera of those that are no longer available for raising, or that have already been raised. And we march this army through, moving rate 14 through the woods. I can probably make it, 7 miles? So I can probably make it to the edge of the woods in a day.
No problem. Yeah.
So is there anything out of the ordinary in along the coast here? Is everything as abandoned and bleak as I just described?
Yeah. The forests are quiet. No
we
birds
probably
are
encounter a few
chirping.
zombies. So I have...
How many zombies are wandering the woods?
66 zombos.
Oh,
Plus the smattering of zombie monsters that I mostly try to keep with the army, but sometimes, like I said, they smell a little girl in a Red Riding Hood, and they get distracted.
You cross many zombies on your path. Do you fold them into your army?
No, I think the zombies just own the wood, patrol the wood.
Right.
Probably where we've got them marked, right? So these 3 regions that have the skulls to represent fallen villages.
That's where the zombies are spread out.
Zombies
in these areas?
Yeah, 66 zombies in that territory. I don't know what percent chance that gives you on an encounter check if you're wandering around the woods, but
so that
probably
means
not a nice place to be if you're not marked.
Winter's Reach is fairly protected by zombies, except for through this area, right? someone could sneak along here and have like a quick, short 3-mile jaunt to Winter's Reach.
Yeah, that's the coastal village of Amon's Watch, if I recall. Yeah. There was a brutal murder of a miller on the outskirts of town.
Yeah.
And there's probably dark talk in the taverns there.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Their hunters have been finding fewer and fewer game. Hunters from Winter's Reach have been spotted in their territory from time to time. The animals are disappearing from the woods. What are they to do? The next village over is just gone. It's devoid of people. They're getting scared.
Yeah. I suppose, if a band of intrepid adventurers could probably slip through Amon's Watch, right, and make it into Winter's Reach from the east. But I'd likely hear of it. I mean, I think I want my hunters to keep using maybe like towers and stuff in the woods, or like I think it would be in theme. Would be like a hunter's. What do they call those when you like build a little perch in a tree? Is it a blind?
Yeah.
Where you sit up, basically nail a board to a tree and sit up there and wait.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, next time we march, and I think we will camp. I don't have a. I'll probably march the army to the edge of the forest, but stay myself in the keep of Sardinia that night. And like try to catch them mounted the next day. I think my elk only trudges a little. So maybe the army gets a little ahead of me this night. But there will be skeleton warriors and stuff on my side.
Where are you going, Malcifer? Where are you taking this army?
I think tomorrow we're going to go to that old abandoned keep, that purple circle, and assemble there. So basically we're probably gonna take the west here.
Okay.
Dredge the swamp for souls and corpses.
Well, why don't we go to our second break, and when we come back, we'll venture into the swamp. See you guys on the other side of a break.